Thank you very much, Margaret. I'm delighted to be joining everybody today. My name is David Boyd. I'm the United Nations Special Rapporteur on Human Rights and the Environment, and I'm joining you from Sideas, also known as Pender Island, on the west coast of Canada, into traditional unceded territory of the Coast Salish First Nations. First, I want to start out by highlighting the United Nations Harmony with Nature initiative, which is really a terrific initiative started in 2010, led by Bolivia, also Ecuador, and other nations. And the Harmony with Nature initiative is something that has been producing annual reports from the Secretary General and also hosting interactive dialogue on harmony with nature, earth jurisprudence, the rights of nature on an annual ongoing basis. And there's a terrific report that was published in July, the latest, the 10th report of the Secretary General. And all of those resources can be found at a very helpful website called harmonywithnature.un.org. And it's exciting to see all of these cases that are being talked about, all of these laws. And in fact, there is an annex to the Secretary General's latest report, which includes more than 170 examples of the rights of nature in law, in practice, in education. And so I really commend that to everyone. Also exciting to see a reference to the rights of nature in the current draft of the post-2020 Global Biodiversity Framework. And I guess when I turn to my work as the UN Special Rapporteur on Human Rights and the Environment, I'm really trying to break down this wall between human rights and nature's rights. I mean, humans are part of nature. We're not separate from or superior to it, as Cormac mentioned earlier. And so I've been highlighting the rights of nature in my report. So in a report on good practices, which I presented to the UN Human Rights Council earlier this year, I mentioned or highlighted the rights of nature. In a report that I just presented to the General Assembly a couple of days ago, called Human Rights Depend on a Healthy Biosphere, I again highlighted the rights of nature as a good practice. And I'll put links to those reports in a box after I finish speaking here today. But I also think that, in my work as Special Rapporteur, I have been focused on the human right to live in a healthy environment, a right which is now recognized in over 150 countries around the world. And I think it's really interesting to think about how we can actually bring these things together, human rights and nature's rights. And there's some exciting developments here. The word healthy can be interpreted in two ways, as healthy for nature and as healthy for humans. And I want to just read a brief passage from the Inter-American Court on Human Rights, Advisory Opinion 23/17 from 2017, where they're talking about the relationship between human rights and the environment, but they really make this kind of breakthrough insight. And so I'm just going to read this to you. The court considers it important to stress that the right to a healthy environment, unlike other human rights, protects the components of the environment, such as forests, rivers, and seas, as legal interests in themselves. This means that it protects nature and the environment, not only because of the benefits they provide to humanity or the effects their degradation may have on other human rights, but because of their importance to the other living organisms with which we share this planet that also merit protection on their own right. So that's the Inter-American Court talking about the right to a healthy environment in a very ecocentric interpretation, which I think is really a fantastic bridge between human rights and the rights of nature. And that approach has been taken up by courts in countries since that 2017 advisory opinion. So for example, we have the fantastic decision of the Supreme Court of Colombia in the Future Generations case, where 25 children and youth brought this lawsuit arguing that deforestation in the Colombian portion of the Amazon rainforest is a violation of their constitutional right to a healthy environment. And that is exactly what the Supreme Court of Colombia said, which is that the right to a healthy environment was violated and that the Amazon rainforest itself has rights through the right to a healthy environment. So that's a fascinating development. And a similar decision more recently in Mexico from the Supreme Court of Mexico, in which, again, the case was based on the constitutional right to a healthy environment, but the Supreme Court of Mexico, in stopping a tourism development that would have destroyed a mangrove ecosystem, said that the right to a healthy environment includes the rights of the mangroves themselves. And so I think that this is a really fantastic development, and I look forward to working on it on these issues with all of you in the years ahead. The one final thing I'll say, and this is a challenge that we face, is we need to translate a lot of these victories on paper, bylaws, laws, constitutions, and really make these changes enforceable on the ground. And time is short. You know, scientists are telling us we need rapid, systemic, and transformative changes. I believe that both the human right to a healthy environment and the rights of nature can be catalysts for those transformative changes. Thank you very much, and thank you to all of you for the work you're doing on behalf of the people we love and this beautiful blue-green planet.